Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Money in Motion. Happy Friday. Today is September 22nd, and it is going to be just me today. CJ is unavailable, so sorry to all the CJ fans out there, but he gave me some stuff that he wanted to talk about, so I will cover that and more. And of course, what is up to everyone in the chat? Hey, Jenna. Hey, Phoenix. Sell me your assets. What's up? I see you have a question there. What are our thoughts about the price action this weekend? Um, Definitely we'll hit that and a whole lot more. So without further ado, let's dive right into things. One thing that I posted in our community Discord that I think is going to be so important today, and I'm watching like a hawk, is the DXY. And I think it's pretty obvious why I'm watching the DXY so closely, right? I mean, at this point, this is indicative of a turning point. I had mentioned that if it flipped red, I think that gives a lot of breathing room to the equity markets, and we could plausibly see some nice continuation to end the week. And if that is the case, that bodes well for Bitcoin. I think continuation of positive price action for the equity markets and perhaps like a filling of this gap would be very, very good for Bitcoin as we head into the weekend, because throughout the week, it's actually shown signs of independent strength. And I think if it had the wind of the equity markets behind its sails, it could really propel Bitcoin higher into the weekend. So that's kind of what I'm watching most closely is DXY and how this closes. If this candle closes down similar to this, like a shooting star candle at the top of an uptrend, you can see heavy distribution above 105.5. So no one's really buying up there. And this looks like the beginning of a reversal. Now, of course, there's been instances where we've pulled back only to climb higher. This may be that, like it could very well be this situation. But what's clear is above 105.5, there are no buyers for the DXY. And to that note, the euro dollar is looking, not surprising, like the opposite, but looking like it could plausibly reverse. One thing that I had mentioned yesterday was targeting this 200-day moving average. I think that's a feasible target. That's kind of hard to see. Why is it that color? Let's change it to black here. But like, I think that's a feasible target after the European Central Bank hiked rates. This thing got beat up pretty bad. DXY climbed higher. I think now we see some positive price action in the euro dollar and thus some breathing room in equities as we head into the weekend. Now, getting to the equity side of things, a bit of a slow start to the day, nonetheless, a positive start to the day, particularly in Amazon, up 1.38%, Nvidia up 1.49%. So both of these stocks, people, I think the reason why these two in particular are up the most, well, one, Amazon was beat up real bad and, has this clear gap to fill to the upside, which is, I think, actually a play that could be made next week feasibly if you're like looking to play the upside potential and you're of the thesis that the dollar is going to pull back. I think Amazon, given the fact that this is a gap here, you see the same gap here, the same gap here, like many gaps occur at this level. That marks market inefficiency and means that we could make that jump very quickly. So that's one that I'll be watching to play next week. But if we close up into this like gap zone here and finish the day strong above yesterday's close, I think that would bode well for Amazon next week. Now, with all that being said, let's move into the crypto markets because I'm actually very encouraged by what we're seeing here. Now, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I've been, talking about the same critical level of 26.2 for about, or 26.2 to 26.5 being a critical level for quite a while. And one thing I had mentioned is that, even though we had this nice move up on the back of it was started by a short squeeze, right? We still got above this highly critical level where we saw 1, 2, 3 days of distribution into that level. So after we've seen that distribution, like clearly this level of 26.7, 26.75, highly critical level. If we close above that level today, if we close above 26.75K, I think that bodes very well for some possible positive price action heading into the weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this line here, close enough, and just watch the charts today. And if we close above this level, I'm actually going to consider taking some risk. And I'm not just going to be buying Bitcoin, because look at the charts today. Bitcoin's up 0.41%, while ETH is up 1.02%. And this chart looks real good from an hourly perspective. Nice signs of accumulation in the forms of these wicks. That's what you want to see when you have this sort of ascending formation. And this is the bet I'd be taking if we were heading into the weekend with a strong equity market, a Bitcoin close above 26.75K, both of those being fulfilled, and then also the DXY closing red. I think that gives us, the three major things that we'd want to see in order to enter a position with conviction. So then, of course, you want to define your risk. For Ethereum, it would be pretty simple. I mean, anything below 1590, you cut it. That would kind of invalidate this formation here. And last thing I'll say is that it was due for a bounce. ETH was due for a bounce, and this is something that Nick and I talked about on Tuesday. But the ETH BTC pair, move this gaps indicator. This ETH BTC pair, it was beaten up bad, and Nick and I had been talking about this massive kind of descending triangle that the ETH BTC pair is in. As you can see now, it's bouncing from the bottom of this range, and I think it's going to head back up into this range, marking significant outperformance from ETH over the next maybe 3 to 5 days. So this is all stuff that could happen this weekend, and the technicals are lining up nicely for this sort of move to happen. So that's what I am watching as we head into the weekend. Again, apologies for it being sort of a short episode, but that's really all I got. And as always, thank you guys for your participation in chat. Jenna, Phoenix, Sell Me Your Assets, Ross, really appreciate you guys. And also, as always, I'll be hanging out in the Trade the Chain community. Definitely check it out. 14 days free at tradethechain.com. That gets you access to the sentiment dashboard. Also, it gets you access to our Discord, where CJ, myself, Nick, Alex, and many other bright traders share their insights. So definitely head over there and check that out. But if not, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you again on Monday. Take care and happy trading.